20 Ways to Have a Summer That Matters. This is episode 504. Today's sponsor is Advancement Courses. Their spring sale is happening now, so stay tuned for how to save 20% on your summer PD.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
Today, I want to challenge your thinking about your summer. So I've collected 20 of the best ways to make this a summer that matters. When I think about time, I think of the great quote that the master of Trinity College said to the runner Abrams in the movie Chariots of Fire. He turned to Abrams, this guy who just loved to run and life was just moving so quickly. And he said, "Life slips by, Abrams. Life slips by." So if we want this to be a summer that matters, we have to think differently about it. And I hope this is your wake-up call. There are a million ways to lose a day, but not even a single way to get one back, says Tom DeMarco and Timothy Lister. So number one, savor the time. Don't save time, savor it. Enjoy the moments. Put down your phone and laugh and be in the moment. Yet time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time, says Martha Rowley-Curran. It's okay to savor the time, that long sip of coffee, that time in the park. Yet I have to ask myself when I look down and get inhaled into Facebook for 30 minutes, if I savor it or if it slipped through my fingers like time was for Abrams in the movie. Number two, set screen time goals. Summer is a perfect time to set screen time goals and see if you can lower the time you spend looking at your screen and increase the time you spend doing things that mean something. Number three, I would challenge you to go off the grid. So have some time off the grid, out of email. Do you know that if you delete the social media apps, that you're not really deleting that social media service? I often uninstall Facebook off my iPhone. I'll take Twitter, I'll take Instagram, I'll take all those things off. And then when I'm ready to go back on, I know what my passwords are, so I can just reinstall and log back in. But it gets rid of all the notifications and all the temptation and distraction. And I don't reinstall them until I am really ready to do that. Number four is come up with a plan for what you want to do. So as former Disney executive VP Lee Cockrell said, someday, ASAP, and when I get time, it's not a system. Be intentional about what you like to do this summer. Don't say sometime I want to do this or sometime I want to do that. Now, one of the things that I always love to do with my children is we like to create and color summer goal posters, and we put fun and free and epic things we want to do. We put vacations, but we also put the movies we want to see and just, I want to sit in a hammock and read a book. And we drew the pictures of those, and then we would stick them up in the hall. Now, I started doing this at the end of one summer when one of my children said, I didn't get to do anything I wanted to do. And there was a week left. And I said, well, when did you decide what you wanted to do? And when did you tell me? So we did it for the last week of summer, and we did so much and had so much fun that we started doing it for our summer the next summer and have continually. Number five, include learning in your plan. Now, most of the conversation for this podcast is going to focus right here on this. Ernest Hemingway said, we are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. I would like to add that people who think they know everything have proven their ability to learn nothing. So decide how you're going to learn. Number six, set up the apps to bring the best learning to you. So first of all, I suggest you start by curating podcasts. It's a great time to listen and say, hey, I want to subscribe to this, or, oh, I just want a couple of these episodes. You can set up your podcast now, and then you'll be ready to go in the fall when you head back to school. The seventh thing you can do is you can set up a feed reader like a Feedly. Now, if you prefer text and you don't prefer to listen, then you can go and set up Feedly and subscribe to blogs and news sources that you want to read instead of listening. Now, number 8, if you like to listen on the iPod, set up an iPad reading tool like Flipboard. Now, my favorite way to read blogs and magazines and such is Flipboard, and I do have a Flipboard magazine that you can subscribe to as well, and I'll link to that in the show notes. Number 9, you can also subscribe to channels and create playlists in YouTube. So you can go into YouTube and subscribe to the channels you want, but you can also make playlists of the videos that you want to watch. For example, when I'm learning new software or something like that, I'll make a little playlist, whether public or private, so that I can just go in and play those things and learn from them. Number 10, I would also encourage you to check out Reddit or find some good Facebook groups. Reddit is a place for personal interests, and so are Facebook groups. So find a group that's right for you and join in the conversations. Now, number 11 is to subscribe to some email newsletters. Now, for me, my best writing goes into my email newsletter that I send out once a week. So you can go to coolcatteacher.com/newsletter and subscribe, but you can also subscribe to other bloggers, people like SmartBrief. And I would recommend having 2 or 3 email newsletters that are just going to come to you into your inbox, and you can have them like you want them. But while we're talking about the inbox, now is also the perfect time for number 12, which is to clean out the spam. So you can use a tool like unroll.me or Maelstrom, mailstrom.co, and remove the spam and junk mail subscriptions so you're less cluttered. And I hope you won't take my newsletter out of your inbox. But the truth is, most bloggers pay for their newsletter services, and they can be very, very expensive. So if you're not reading it at all, you're actually doing people a favor. So don't feel guilty or feel bad about it. Number 13 is you can go to the library and check out some books. So in the article, Quantifying and Valuing the Well-Being Impacts of Culture and Sport, Fujiwara et al. Found that a significant association was found between frequent library use and reported well-being. The same was true of dancing, swimming, and going to plays. But they also found if it was hard to tell whether happy people go to the library or going to the library makes people happy. And the same with dancing and swimming and going to plays and all those other things. So those are some great things to add to your schedule. And number 14 is I would also, when you're at the library, go ahead and set yourself up to check out audiobooks. A lot of people don't know that you can check out audiobooks from your public library using apps like Overdrive. Go to your library and ask how you can get set up. Sometimes there's little different instructions. And remember, when you check out a book in Overdrive, it's a little different. They will automatically return it whether you're finished listening or not, because they have a certain number of subscriptions. You do have to go in and ask to check it out one more time. And my local library will let you check it out twice. But if you haven't listened, it will go back. So you do want to try to do that. Number 15, organize your collection of ebooks. So if you read Kindle like I do, now is a great time to organize those collections. And I like to have one collection called On Deck, one collection called Reading, one collection called Stopped Reading, and one called Finished. I also have a collection for fiction and nonfiction. And remember that you can put books in multiple collections just to make it easier for reading. Number 16 is audiobooks. You can also queue up some audiobooks to listen to, and again, be intentional and think about what are some audiobooks that everybody in your family would enjoy listening to. And you can also do this with podcasts as well. There are a lot of fiction podcasts out there. Number 17 is create some idea boards on Pinterest. So in my Pinterest account, I've organized boards by month. So you can go to pinterest.com/coolcatteacher and take a look at my monthly boards and grab what you want, depending on the age of your students. But organizing now will help you do better later. So, during the school year, you don't really have a lot of time to get lost in Pinterest. So go ahead and do that research now and make your boards and be very purposeful. Now, remember, if you're working with something like prom, you can make a private board with you and others to create an idea board. So number 18, this is important. Plan how you'll get to know your students. Now, I think Thoreau is correct. He said, we should seek to be fellow students with a pupil and should learn of as well as with him if we would be most helpful to him. So when students get notes from us, it is encouraging, but you can also ask your students to write back to you so you can get to know them before school starts, or give them something they could fill out to try to give you a way to get to know the kids. Number 19 is create a summer learning PLN. You can create a Google Classroom just for you and some teacher friends. And here's the cool thing. It doesn't have to just be teachers at your school. You know how you kind of have those teacher buddies like I do that you just talk to about teaching every time you see them at church or at the grocery store. So make a little summer learning PLN and have a great place to share ideas. Of course, you can also, now is the time to do PD, and you'll want to check out the sponsor at the end of the podcast here, Advancement Courses. But number 20, you know yourself. So be intentional and do what really makes you happy. But I will tell you from personal experience that one of the fastest paths to discontent I have ever traveled is one where I only think about myself and what I want. Serving and loving others is a great joy. So we do need to take care of our souls. We do need to rest. We do need to have some time, but we also need to remember it's not just about us in this world. So dear teacher, make this summer that you savor. You get one chance to live it 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. You'll live it and then it will be gone. It will have slipped away. So I have a sign on my wall that says, we don't remember the days, we remember the moments. So make some moments that matter and you'll find that you lived a summer that mattered. I hope these 20 tips help. Now is the perfect time to plan your summer. Go to advancementcourses.com/coolcat and use the offer code COOL20. That's COOL20 and get 20% off your summer PD courses. That's just $120 per graduate credit hour or $160 for 50 clock hours. You can take courses on helpful topics like social emotional learning, classroom management, teacher wellness, special education classes, and more. You have over 240 graduate level courses to choose from in 19 different subject areas. Go to advancementcourses.com/coolcat today and use the offer code COOL20 to get your 20% discount. Tell your friends and plan your PD today.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.